Awesome. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Simply She Podcast Live. And I'm your host, Crystal Vernay. And today we're going to be discussing entrepreneurship through art. And since we're doing this thing live, there's no pause, there's no rewind, and we're definitely unfiltered here on the Simply She Podcast. We want audience participation. So, first things first, make sure you go ahead and just drop your questions and your comments into the chat at any time during the show. You will be able to leave comments under your name if you allow StreamYard access to your Facebook or YouTube profile. If you don't, you can still leave comments and ask questions. We just won't be able to see who you are, but that's totally fine. Don't be shy. We love questions, so feel free to go ahead and drop those in the chat throughout the show. I'm super excited to be talking to my guest today because she is a true creative with a clothing line. She writes poetry, books, plays. So I'm just going to go ahead and introduce her and then we are going to get into it. So Chanelle Coleman Wesley is the creative powerhouse of CeCi's Inc., an innovative storytelling company that conveys stories through poetry, books, playwrights, blogs, fashion, and motivational speaking. As a survivor of abuse, Wesley believes in passing on the communication skills she developed to cope in those environments. She is also an accomplished playwright, with her latest project, a gospel stage play entitled The Beautiful Truth About an Ugly Lie, to be released soon. You can check out the details at her website at www.ccisinc.com for details. All right. Welcome, Chanelle, to the show. How are you?
Hi, Crystal. Thanks to you so very much for having me. I'm so ecstatic to be here.
Awesome. Well, listen, let's go ahead and get into it. Tell the listeners a little bit about you and how you got started in business, how you got started doing all the things that you do.
Actually, I guess it's just been a journey. So many times, you're just comfortable doing things for everybody else, and it seems really selfish to pursue your own things and to go after some of your own dreams. And so it really just kind of started on a moment when you just have a setback. I felt really stagnant, receiving several diagnoses that weren't promising. It kind of put me in a bubble and I kind of just shut down and I really stopped dreaming. And then I just allowed myself to dream because I felt like I had a time clock ticking away on my life and as if I wasn't going to be here long. And so there were certain things that I wanted to kind of check off on my bucket list. And so I just kind of dug in, and that's really where everything really came to fruition. I think I just always have been writing, but as far as about being intentional about putting systems in place and really starting to structure, just really happened about that time when I just said I want to do everything I can do right now. I have to do everything now. And so everything just was born from there.
Awesome. Well, I think for me that definitely resonates because it's kind of like we usually go through something traumatic where
Mhm.
we realize we have one life to live
Yes.
and tomorrow's not promised. And so from that point we're like, well, you know what? I'm going to live my best life from today forward.
That's right.
Uh, so I mean, honestly, that's how the I have four businesses now. That's how the remaining three got started because
Wow.
because I was like, I have one life to live, and tomorrow is not promised. So I want to make sure that when I leave this earth, I've done, all that I had set out to do. So I completely
Yes.
understand. So you have a blog. It's called Unmuted. Tell us
Yes.
about your blog and the topics that you discuss on your blog.
Well, unmute. I got the title because as a survivor of sexual abuse, um, a lot of times you can feel as if your voice has been taken. There were times where I really felt powerless, as if I had no voice. And so I wanted something where people who identified with that same story, where they felt a situation where they felt as if they were powerless, as if they could not speak. And so sometimes people just need to know that they have permission to speak. And so that's really what the blog is about. It's about unmuting, it's about living your life outside of the lines. It's about, looking at your emotional relationship real estate and seeing what things really speak value to you. It's kind of end all be all about relationships, goals setting, just living your best life. All of these things is really what Unmute is about. But at its core, it's just about empowerment, becoming inspired, and knowing that you have a voice and that your voice commands so much praise and adoration just for the ability to speak, because there's so many people who feel like they can't speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having or creating that platform for people who have gone through that to be able to share their story, or you are sharing their story. I think people going through any type of abuse, I think feel sometimes they feel like they're muted. I know I felt that way, being a victim of emotional and mental abuse,
Mhm.
and just kind of like not saying anything, and
Yes.
not letting people know, what was happening to me. So I just want to thank you for creating that platform and making it okay for people to share their story and to speak up. So I think that's really awesome. So I was on your website. I was kind of being nosy, and I see that
Good.
you have a clothing line.
Yes.
And the tagline is "Exclusive My Truth Clothing," which I extremely love. So, what was the
Thank you.
inspiration behind that?
Actually, it came from the play, "The Beautiful Truth About an Ugly Lie." It started off as a book, and the book kind of adapted into a play. I didn't release uh, the book. I wrote it and I kind of sat on it, but instead I just kind of created characters around the book. And so now I'm kind of thinking about going back and rewriting the manuscript to kind of fit more to the play, which is, really kind of ironic. But just speaking on truth is because people's perception of truth is just so powerful. Sometimes, you can love a lie so much, that you hate the truth, and the truth can appear very ugly to you because it is so bold, it's so daring, it's just kind of in your face. And then sometimes the lie can seem like it's just amazing, like, how dare you, take away this precious lie? Like, how dare you say that to me? Um, and so we were just kind of sitting around and kind of talking about, what we were going to do as far as clothing lines, and truth really kind of resonated with everything that we were doing. And so we're like, okay, so everything we're going to do is going to be really kind of motivated from this place of speaking truth. And that's something that's very important to me. And so I just created a lot of things to be able to center around this whole truth concept and speaking truth and finding your voice.
Awesome. I love that. And I think I always tell people to speak their truth, man. You got to speak your
Mhm.
truth, whatever it is, even if
Yes,
it's ugly. And I know sometimes, like we say, people like you can't handle the truth, but people don't like to necessarily hear the truth. But if you stand on your truth, like I feel like nobody can mess with you. So,
I can't.
yeah, I love that. So, that's definitely something that's really creative. I was like, ooh, like I was like, let me ask her about this.
Good.
But I love that your brand itself is based upon stories, and
Mhm.
storytelling is one of the most powerful ways to get your message out there. It's
Yeah.
actually one of the things that I work with my coaching and consulting clients on
Mhm.
is storytelling is a pillar of helping them build their brand. And you have books, you have plays, you're a speaker. What's like your favorite way to tell your story?
That is so hard. I would have to say, if I had to pick one, I would say playwriting. Um, there is just something magnetic about writing a script and finding characters and building a story around this theme that you're a message that you're trying to convey, and grabbing dialogue, and what does this character say, how do they feel, and how do they respond once this thing is happening, and there's always an antagonist, and drama, and you have to have a powerful climax, and you want to have things that people don't see coming, because I'm one
Mhm.
of those people, when I watch a movie, I'm like always trying to try to pick apart to see, like what's going to happen. I want to know what's going to happen. And so I'm trying to dissect. And so I think about people who are like me, who try to dissect things. So I try to always have something that's not readily seen. So it's like some type of surprise during it. But it's nothing like, writing all these things and it's like getting naked, because when people are reading your script and trying to take those things on, it's like you're revealing a piece of yourself.
Mhm.
And it's very empowering to see words, that were written on paper just become, living and breathing beings. It's just like so amazing. It's like, yes, it's everything that I wanted it to be. And that's just really how it feels. It feels very, it's very empowering. It really is. And it's like immediate gratification because you can see your words. You know what I mean? When you're writing a book, they're on paper, and so you're reading them, and it's a little bit different, but seeing the actions and the words come to life, there's nothing like it. Out of everything, if I had to pick something, it would be that. And I just have a phenomenal cast. I'm always blessed to have such incredibly talented and inspirational people that are with me. This cast just does not disappoint. I mean, I hate to try to name drop because then if I don't say somebody's name, but everybody is amazing. Nina, Selena, Nikki, Tina, Tyler, Tati, Kenyatta, Nia, Tamika, Kim. I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget anybody. Taraja, Takara, Ayana, Jada. I think I got everybody. If I didn't, I'm like, oh my goodness. But they are so amazing. It's just like I said, everyone works really hard, and it's nothing like seeing your work being displayed in front of an audience and seeing the audience's reaction to the characters and the storyline is just there's nothing like it. So if I had to pick one, it would definitely be playwright.
Well, I can tell you're extremely passionate about it, and we talked about your the stage play that you have coming up, "The Beautiful Truth
Mhm.
About an Ugly Lie." So tell us a little bit about what it's about. When is it going to be released?
The beautiful truth about an ugly lie at its core is about a family of six beautiful women, the Warren family. We have a mother and we have her six strong willed daughters. They're capable, they're intelligent, but they also have their issues. They're grappling with a family secret because every family has its secrets. And although they're successful, they're all struggling with the results of this, of holding on to the secret. And the secret is threatening to tear the family apart. And so they're introduced to a therapist. Her name is Dr. Watkins. And she's trying to help the girls resolve the issues of the secrets before they ultimately fall apart. And the question of it is are they able to be able to come together as a family and stay together, or does the secret ultimately just tear them apart?
Awesome. Well, it sounds juicy. I think we
Yeah.
should we're going.
Everybody has their secrets. It's tea
Yes.
spilled. I mean, it's just some of everything. It has moments that are going to make you laugh. It has moments that are going to make you think. And we have moments that are definitely going to be entertaining, but we have moments that are going to make you cry. You are going to definitely need a box of tissues if you're watching The Beautiful Truth About an Ugly Lie. Sometimes I get it in practice and I'm like, you know what? I wasn't even planning to cry today. It's just like you got to be ready to cry. You got to be ready to do all of those things, laugh, enjoy, think, all of those things. And so it's just amazing, just the camaraderie. Like I said, I'm just really and truly blessed. Kenyatta, I don't know if I said his name, but I'm gonna say it again. Kenyatta, he's amazing. He's the only male that's
Oh,
braided him.
okay.
Only male, all female cast, and he has females of all ages. The youngest in our cast is 7, and the oldest in our cast is, I would say, 51. So he,
Mhm.
he has us all across the spectrum.
You say
He's
definitely
great.
brave. So what you're saying is that this play is gonna give us all the feels. Is what I heard from
Yes,
laughter to happiness, the thought, deep thought, and
yes,
also tears. Got
yes,
it.
tears, tears, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So in keeping with that, since this is like your favorite way to tell your story and something that you're really passionate about, what's and for those who may be listening that may be interested in doing a play, what's the most challenging experience you've had in the theater industry?
Uh, I would say number one, just challenging yourself to show up and be consistent. You know, you have to think about, sometimes we look at Tyler Perry and like he's the epitome of stage plays, right? He's synonymous. You don't say stage plays anymore without saying Tyler Perry. But we have to be goal setters and look at Tyler Perry before he became Tyler Perry. You know, there's definitely going to be some work ethic and sweat equity that you're going to have to put in to your baby, to your vision, the thing that you want to see realized. And so I would say for a person who wants to do it, I would say congratulations, welcome, come in the space, be intentional, find people who support you, find people who are willing to pour into you and who are also going to stretch and push you and also hold you accountable. Um, you know, never limit yourself, and play big, because at the end of the day, sometimes you only have that one opportunity to introduce yourself to an audience. It's very hard to reintroduce yourself because a lot of times people will set their mind once they have an impression. It's very hard to, you know, make that second impression. They have already locked in what that impression of you or what your performances are. So, hey, play big, play big, or don't play at all. But you can definitely play in whatever big looks like to you. You know, my idea of big may not be your idea of big. So big within your realm, and just, you know, remember to have fun. Sometimes you're so, you know, just you're concentrating on executing everything that sometimes you just forget to take a moment just to breathe and relax and enjoy the moment. And it's like I said, it's easy because you're trying to be methodical with checking off everything that needs to be done, because there are a lot of pieces that are involved with stage plays. But remember to have fun and smile.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys have taken notes. Chanelle's a very successful playwright. For the ladies who may be listening, or gentlemen who are listening that might want to come in the space, I think it's very interesting that you do poetry and books and plays. So, can you talk about your creative process? Like, what is it like when you go and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this new book or this new play or this new poem? Like, is there a certain process that you follow?
You know what's really crazy? I was recently asked on an interview, uh, like, where do you write? What is your thing? What do you like? What do you do? And I had to think about it, and I was like, well, I don't really have anything really snazzy to say. The truth of the matter is, I write most comfortably in bed. I don't have to have anything necessarily by me. And I thought it was very ironic because um, I suffered my first instance of sexual abuse inside of a bed. That was the same place where I felt victimized. That was the same place where I felt powerless. And it's also the same place that I go to draw strength. I feel so much more empowered, encouraged, inspired, like ready to conquer the world, you know, because I was like, do I tell them I'm at a desk? Because I'm not really at a desk. You know, do I say I'm up doing this? No, I'm laying down literally in my bed. I write some of the most uh, craziest things in bed. And I had to think back. I was like, have I ever written outside of the bed? Is that kind of crazy? I'm like, no, I just generally that is where I'm writing. That's where I'm most comfortable creating is in bed. So I may be in bed. I may have some juice or I love Kool-Aid. I'm a big kid. I might have some snacks or some things, and I'm just, plugging away, plugging away. And I mean, nowadays you can write with anything, so you don't have to necessarily be at a laptop or at your computer. You could do it on your phone. You can text the phone. You can talk, to your phone. There are so many ways for people to create. So don't put yourself inside of a box and whatever speaks true to you. But for me, I write in my bed.
That's cool because I know, like, when I wrote my first book, I dictated it on my commute back and forth to work
Mm,
because I was like, this is the only time that I have.
nice,
So I
nice,
just spoke,
smart.
yeah, I just spoke into my phone, and that's how I got my book out. So
Wow.
I just tell any like new authors that I can, like, hey, the dictation thing that worked for
See,
me.
that's what I'm saying. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Hmm.
However you skin it, it still
Absolutely.
works.
Yep, and then I was thinking about what you said. I was like, "Oh, well, it seems like to me from what I get is that you took a place of pain and you turned it into a place of power for
Yes.
you. And so I think that that's really important. You took your space back, which I don't think a lot of us do in life. We don't take our space back and our place back. So I commend you for making that your space of power and a place that you've made now as a creative space for you.
And you know what was crazy? I didn't even know I was doing it. It wasn't until I was asked the question, I was like, should I say am I supposed to say that I'm writing big? And I was like, but that's where I write. So I was like, I have to be honest about where I'm writing at. And I was like, then I just drew the parallel, like, oh wow. It's the same
Mhm.
place, and then it just, but the whole time is what was happening, but I just didn't recognize that to be so. But yeah, I would definitely tell people to go back into the same spaces where you cried in. Those are the same places you need to celebrate yourself in, to feel loved, to feel accepted, to feel appreciated, to be wanted, and just to show up and say, I'm here.
That's right. That's right. So I think you definitely are a serial entrepreneur. So can you tell us about maybe the most difficult obstacle you face in your entrepreneurship journey?
The most difficult journey, I would say, is because I'm a creative. Um, I sometimes I'll pull in so many projects, so many things at one time. Um, and sometimes I'm still that like little kid inside, even though I'm 45 years old. It's just like, I want to do this and I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do all these amazing things all at the same time. And everybody's like, Chanelle, don't pick up any more projects at this, because it's like hectic, it's chaos. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can feel powerful because you have so many projects moving simultaneously, but there are a lot of wheels to turn. There are so many things that you could do at a better leverage if you just really honed in on one particular facet and allow that to develop before you implement something different. Unfortunately for me, I'm always creating something else. Well, let's grab this. And this sounds like a great idea. Let's do this. And so before you know it, I'm spinning so many wheels. And I'm like, next time I'm not going to grab so many wheels. I promise I'm only going to have like 4 wheels. I promise. But I just innately do it. I'll pick it, I'll say it. But then I'll think of something else like, this is a great idea. I should implement this. I should do this. And then I'll hit, you know what? And then I should do that. And so then it just becomes hectic. And so I would say, for people in business who want to start their own business, utilize SMART goals. Smart goals are specific, they're able to be measurable, you're able to articulate it, they're relatable, and they're time based. So you want to have something where you're not stretching yourself so thin. When you are an entrepreneur, nobody's setting your hours. Um, and so, unfortunately, you work the longest hours possible. You would think the opposite, like, hey, you're setting the schedule, so that means I'm going to get some break time, a lot of vacation. People will call me or text me or message me. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't get it. I was working. You still work? Yes, honey, I'm still working. I'm still creative. I'm still doing something. I love you. And I don't, but I'm just really busy. It's because I'm steadily creating things. So, smart goals, value your time, know your worth, be comfortable with your asking price, whatever it is that you're commanding for the services and the intellectual property that you provide, um, and own the space that you're in.
That's amazing advice. Wonderful guys. Like, I mean, I think too, for creatives, I know that, well, entrepreneurs in general, I think the having too many irons in the fire is just like common when we start. We're just like, okay, I want to do this and that and that and that. And I was like, yep. I think we've all experienced that until we find, like, I think what I would like to call our true path and we can just
Mm-hmm.
run with that. We'll always have a few projects going, I think. But, I think over time, you get smarter and more protective of your time,
Yeah.
as you kind of grow up and scale your business. So that's cool. I love that. So tell us, because you have so many different projects going on, what new projects are you working on right now?
So I just released a co-authored book with 89 amazing authors. It's entitled Joy Comes in the Morning. We just made bestseller, so I'm really happy about that. Yay!
Yeah.
It's amazing because so many people are struggling and grappling with grief. 2020 was definitely a very traumatic year for, the world. Just so many people losing so many loved ones, life changing as we know it. It's now a new world post COVID. And so I was really encouraged and inspired to join it because these authors really wanted to step up and to serve. And service is something that's very important to me. I'm just really impassioned about being able to show people that there is another side, that yes, you can experience pain, but there on the other side of pain, there's progress. On the other side of failure, there's victory. On the other side of discouragement, there's hope. And so that's something that really spoke to me. And so I'm proud of the just being able to contribute to such an amazing project that's centered on providing hope at a time where people are feeling very hopeless. And then I'm also currently writing a book for women entitled She Said Yes to Herself. And you
Awesome.
heard it here first. Yep, she said yes to herself.
Oh, y'all, we got the exclusive drop.
Yes, yes
You
to
said yes to
herself.
herself. I love that
Mm-hmm.
title. Love
Mm-hmm.
that title. I won't, unless you feel comfortable, I won't ask you to go into detail, but
Well,
I
I feel very comfortable because yes, there are so many times that we say yes to so many things. We're easy to say. We don't have to be prompted to say yes to relationships or yes to family, or yes to things like that that fit in that realm. But when it's time to say yes to ourselves, in some ways we feel like we're being selfish, as if this is taboo, this is something that we should not do. That we can show up and show out for everyone else but ourselves. And what I'm telling the women is, honey, yes, it show up for you. I see you. I'm supporting you. I'm clapping for you. I want you to see you. I want you to support you, and I want you to clap loudest for yourself. And so it's about a celebration. As ladies, I'm gonna talk about various topics. About not being shrinkable. So stop shrinking yourself to fit certain spaces. I just talk about becoming from fearful to fearless. So many different things about our diet, because sometimes we think everything is about what we eat. Sometimes it's about what we take in into our bodies, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. All of those things encompass everything. And so, um, just a lot of things. We start off with a pledge about how you're going to vow to love you unapologetically, and you're going to show up for you, and you're going to clap for you. And I expect women to actually do the things that they're saying. It's a thing to be able to feel empowered, a thing to journal, because I love journaling. And a space just to look at some affirmations, some poetry, some famous quotes before each chapter. They're really kind of short and sweet and to the point, but teach some very valuable lessons.
awesome. I can't wait for that to come out. Definitely
Cool.
let me know. We'll let the Simply She community know when it comes out. For
Okay.
those folks who are interested, are there any last words or pieces of advice that you'd like to share?
Yes, I would just simply say that the time is now. Sometimes we think that we have, tomorrow or, 2 weeks from now to be able to do some of the things that we're wanting to do. And I'm saying to you, um, do it today. A lot of times we're waiting to everything, quote unquote, seems right. I'm going to do this when everything is lined up perfectly. Newsflash, it will never line up perfectly. You just have to go ahead and do it anyway. And then some people might be thinking, well, I would do it, but I'm scared. So
Mm,
maybe I shouldn't do it. I'm going to say, do it scared. A lot of times people are like, Chanelle, you are like so courageous. You're doing all these things. I'm like, I'm doing these things scared, but I'm doing them anyway, right? I am not just,
that's right.
everything is not fearless, and everything is just not like, I got this. No, some things I'm like, you know what? I don't know about this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just jump in anyway. And what I found is once I jump in, the water is fine. So my friends say stuff to me like, Chanelle, you doing this? Girl, yes, and the water is fine. You should come on and get up in. There is room for you over here. Just go ahead and jump in. The water is fine. Sometimes you are going to jump and you are going to fly and you are going to soar. And then there are times when you are going to jump and you are going to fall and you are going to crash. but you are going to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and do it again.
That's right. Oh, look, y'all. She's dropping. Chanelle is dropping gems, okay? Because listen, do it afraid. I think y'all be thinking that when people are doing all these things that they're not afraid, or they've done it 1,000 times. It's like, no, like we're genuinely like
Yes,
scared to death, but we decided to do it anyway.
yes,
So I definitely love that. Do it afraid, and when you jump in the water, it's fine. It's like
yes, it's
I'm
fun.
taking note of that one, because that I think that's definitely something that resonates with me a whole lot. So
Yeah.
we do. Looks like we don't have any questions right now from our listeners. So can you tell everybody how can they best connect with you? Give us your website, your social handles. Let us know all the things.
Definitely. Well, again, Crystal, thank you so very much. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to connect with me and allow me to be able to serve your audience. It's just truly been a pleasure. So people can connect with me on my website, www.cecisinc.com. That's www.cecisink.com. They can also reach me at Gmail at cecis.ink@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook. I have a whole group, Naked and Not Ashamed. I would love for you guys to come on in and get naked. Not literally, we're not going to take off our clothes, but we're just talking about stripping down masks and pretenses, because sometimes we feel like we have to fake the funk and be somebody who we're not. And we're just saying it's okay to be you. Go ahead, take that mask off. We going to still love on you anyway. And so they can reach me on there. I'm also on Instagram, CeCi's Inc. Creative Author, and Twitter, Chanelle Coleman Wesley, and also
Awesome.
Facebook is CeCi's Inc. too.
Okay.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, no worries, guys. If you didn't take that down, for more information on Chanelle and how to connect with her, you can click on the link in the show notes for this episode, and you can access the show notes by going to www.isimplishe.com/podcast. Again, that's www.isimplishe.com/podcast. And if you're a coach or consultant and you're ready to start earning consistent income in your business that replaces your 9 to 5 freelance or one-to-one business, click the link in the show notes and apply for the Brand Builder Blueprint. So, guys, I hope you found what we shared to be helpful today. And I want to remind you that remember, you too can conquer if you slay hard every day. Take care. Thank you so much, Chanelle, for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Crystal.
You're welcome.